Hey guys, this is Two Kids in a Trench Coat, a football podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jacob Rosenfarb.
I'm Ryan Sharp.
And I'm Josh Athles, your producer.
Today we're going to be breaking down the entire AFC, giving our full division preview plus our playoff predictions. Let's dive right in. Who do you want to start with? What division?
Let's start with a less exciting division, and then we'll kind of work our way up. I think the AFC North is an okay place to start.
Sure, I'm with it. Go
All
right
right.
ahead.
All right, so winning this division, I'm going to have to go with the Steelers. I don't think anyone else is all that great. I think a 10-win Steelers take the AFC North this year.
I can get behind that. I also have the Steelers winning the North. I have them going 11-5 though, so I think they're a little more respectable. But that division's just not very good, if we're being honest.
A note about the Steelers, though, this was one of my takes I shared with you a week or so ago about Mason Rudolph. I think he sees some significant playing time this year.
Really? Tell us more.
I think Big Ben is getting old, and it's the point where you can rely on him to miss a couple games each year.
I think that's fair.
And that's where I think Mason Rudolph steps in, and I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
I think he'll keep them moving towards that playoff direction, and if he has to play in the playoffs, I think he'd be capable of doing that as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I can get behind that. I think Big Ben right now, his talent, the idea of his talent is more than his actual. Like his expected talent is not even close to his actual talent. I mean, this man had 5 picks in a game against Jacksonville. I don't think this is the same Big Ben that we're still like. Even last year, I think this is going to be a sharp decline for Big Ben.
I agree with that. I think
if he didn't have the weapons around him, if he didn't have the best wide receiver and the best running back in the league, I don't think we'd be talking about him as
that's where I was about to go with this. Is without Le'Veon and Antonio Brown, I don't think he's all that great. I think Mason Rudolph, if we're being honest, might be a better option. But the fact that
That's a take.
Ben Roethlisberger, he's still good enough to do it, and he's good enough to start. So I think he'll stay there.
Yeah, I mean for cohesiveness,
exactly.
If nothing else,
I don't think Mason Rudolph is too much of a downgrade. At
No,
this point.
exactly. Yeah, I definitely think he could step right in and lead this team.
Somewhere else in the division, 0-16 last year, Cleveland Browns. What do you think of them?
I actually had them finishing third in the division at 5-11.
I have them second at 6-10.
Wow, second place. Tell us.
Well, I think with Jarvis Landry, Josh Gordon, David Njoku for Baker Mayfield or Tyrod Taylor to throw the ball to, they've got some depth, and I think that's going to help them out, and enough to win it at least 6 games this year.
I mean, I think Tyrod's a starter for most of the year. I think he starts the majority of the because I think they want to be relevant. I think they want to be competent, and I love Baker, but I don't think he's going to be quite ready as a rookie. I think it would, if he was thrown in there right now, it'd take a while.
Yeah,
but,
I agree with that.
Yeah, Tyrod, I think you're going to be solid. I think you're going to be actually pretty good. The more surprising thing about that, though, if you have them going 6-10 and finishing second, you have the Ravens below that.
Yes, I do.
So you're very down on the Ravens. Tell us.
I'm very down on the Ravens this year. I think Joe Flacco's time is about up as an elite, I put air quotes around that, quarterback in the NFL. No run game, really. And some okay receivers, but, with an aging Joe Flacco, that's going to be tough to do. And then Lamar Jackson, I think he is the future of the Ravens, and I think he is going to be great or good, but he's definitely not there yet. So if he does have to play this year, I don't see that working out as well as you'd want it to.
I really like that. I really agree. Yeah, I think Lamar is the future of that franchise. He's just not ready, though.
Exactly.
I think we saw enough in preseason to understand the hype. I mean, I think we were both very high on him coming out of Louisville, and nothing he's shown me so far has dissuaded me from that. It's just like, yeah, he's not ready. He's clearly not ready. So, yeah, let's give him some time. But, yeah, Flacco's rough. That receiving core's bad. I mean, Michael Crabtree is their one, and that's ooh. But John Brown was a good pickup. I think that's going to be real nice. And that defense is still solid, though.
Yep.
That defense is still elite.
Ageless wonder Terrell Suggs.
That's why I have them going 8-8. I have them finishing second in the division, going 8-8. I think this is a 500 ball team. I think they're okay. I think they're I think they're average. I think they're okay. I think they're nothing special, nothing writing home about. Joe Flacco can't. It's going to be a lot of 13-10 ball games. I think for these Baltimore Ravens. And so I think that means we have the same last place team, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep. 3-13.
3-13. So what goes wrong for the Bengals this year?
Everything. Everything except AJ Green.
Okay, I can get behind that. Why?
I think Andy Dalton has shown us that he just doesn't have what it takes to be a consistently good quarterback in the NFL, and I expect that to continue. And
Right.
then that's another team, with an unreliable run game. Receiving core is certainly better, but I don't know if A.J. Green can really carry an entire team.
No, yeah, I don't know. I mean, those weapons aren't horrible, and I think Joe Mixon's pretty solid. I don't know if I want him on my team personally, but I think he's a solid talent. I don't know. On one hand, I like their draft and I like a lot of their players individually, but just as a cohesive unit, I just don't think this is the team. Marvin Lewis, I have zero faith in Marvin Lewis.
Me too. That's another huge thing for me.
I have zero faith in Andy Dalton.
This is the year he gets fired.
God, I hope so. Just because he's so bad. He's so destructive to that franchise. If they had someone who has some offensive personality and creativity, that could be kind of fun. But no, they're stuck with Marvin Lewis and his 1993 idea of how to play football. It's disgusting.
I don't see how he was still employed after 2017.
Honestly,
but here we are in August of 2018, and Marvin Lewis is ready for another season.
Still has a job. So let's move on to our next division. Let's talk about the AFC South. I think one of the more interesting divisions in football.
I think the most interesting division in football this year.
Okay.
I have 3 playoff teams in this division.
3 playoff teams. Wow.
Yep. I have Jacksonville 12-4, Houston 11-5, and Tennessee 10-6.
Wow, 3 double-digit win teams, and wow, that's incredible. I don't know the last time it's been a minute, I think, since
I think so.
So tell me why you're so high in the AFC South as a whole.
Well, Jacksonville, I think with their defense, that can carry them through this season, more so than the Ravens' defense can carry that team. Leonard Fournette, of course, is incredible. I expect him to be a power in the backfield again, like anyone else. And then you move on to Houston. You have Deshaun Watson, who last year, I think he was probably a Rookie of the Year favorite before he went down with that injury. You give him a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller's all right. You've got yourself a nice team there.
Oh, definitely. That's a nice crop of weapons. I share your excitement about the AFC South. Maybe not as highly as you. I have the Texans winning the division at 13-3, and the Jaguars finishing second at 12-4, Titans third at 9-7. So not pretty close to your range. I think like I said, I'm really high on the Texans. I think this Texans team is really good. Just a little preview. We'll be talking about them later for sure for me.
Yep.
I really just as AFC South as a whole though. I think that top 2 of Houston and Jacksonville is dynamite. I think Jacksonville could easily make it back to the AFC Championship game. I think they've only gotten better on defense. I think that another year Blake Bortles is good. If they lose Marquise Lee, that's rough.
I have seen some reports. It's Monday morning or afternoon. You're hearing this. I have seen some stuff this morning that Marquise Lee looks like he's done for the year.
Ooh, that would be brutal.
So that is a big blow. Now you need D.D. Westbrook to really step it up.
Yeah, Keelan Cole. I mean, they brought in Dante Moncrief for this reason. They need weapons. So that will be interesting to see how they react.
I think not taking a receiver early in the draft is going to come back to bite them a little bit.
That may, yeah. That was, but the rest, I still think the rest of that team is super talented. And if Blake is competent, if Bortles is just as good as he was last year, or even takes a mini step forward, that's a whole different team.
If he could get in there and just manage the game well, then the Jags are set.
So let's talk about the Titans. New head coach Mike Vrabel, new offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. This is an interesting. No, Matt LaFleur. Sorry, Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator there. Matt Nagy is in Chicago.
That's right.
So why are you high on the Titans?
I'm really high on Marcus Mariota. I think he's a reliable quarterback. I don't know if I call him elite, but I think he can definitely lead a team to the playoffs as he's done before during his time as a Titan. And this year particularly, I'm very high on Derrick Henry, the running back. People are saying Deion Lewis is going to take all his catches out of the backfield. And then they'll, when they see Henry, it's like, oh, he's running the ball, and they'll be able to figure it out very quick. I disagree with that. I think you will see Deion Lewis with a good amount of catches, but I think Derrick Henry is a good enough runner that'll be able to put up numbers, even, when the defense knows he's going to carry the ball. I think he's strong. I think he's fast. I think he's comparable to Leonard Fournette in a couple ways, with that ability to, really power through as a runner.
I think that's spot on. I really like that comp. I think Derrick Henry's primed for a really great year. I think if this offense explodes maybe in the same way we saw LA's offense last season explode, good things could be on the horizon for Derrick Henry.
I think with the bulk of the carries, you'll see some good stuff.
Oh, definitely. I think I really like that call. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball for them. They made their second draft selection, Harold Landry, has looked a little shaky in preseason, but I think that defense is how they take that next step. I think someone like a Dory Jackson taking the next step, Derek Morgan stepping up more, Jarrell Casey continuing his dominant ways. I think that combined with an improved offense could lead to a playoff berth like you have predicted. I think that's not that crazy when you really think about it.
No, I would agree with everything you said, and I would throw in, stranger to Deion Sanders, Kevin Byard.
That is a good. Deion Sanders still has no idea who he is, but everyone else should. Everyone else should know who Kevin Byard is for sure. And we are both similarly down on the Colts. How do you have the Colts finishing this season?
I have them going with a 500 record, 8-8.
Wow. Okay. I take that back. Much higher on the Colts than I am. Tell me why. Where is this optimism for the Colts?
Andrew Luck is good enough to take a team to 8-8 by himself, I think.
Wow.
He's a very good football player, and if he, can stay healthy, I think that's a huge part of it. Offensive line needs to make sure he doesn't get hit. Though Quentin Nelson has looked all right so far, so I like that pick a lot, and I think they'll have a little bit of a bounce back year. That's only 4 more wins than they had last year, if you really think about it. So
no, that's a good point. I think you would have to think Luck is worth some sort of improvement. I'm not super sold he's ready. I mean, he was throwing high school footballs like 3 weeks ago. I'm not 100% sure this is the same Andrew Luck. I don't think. But only time will tell. I'm not crazy about their weapons there. I don't think that's anything super special. I think T.Y. is nice, but besides that, I kind of like their tight end pairing, actually. Doyle and Ebron. I think that's solid. But and that defense just looks brutal to me. Yeah. The defense, I think they're going to give up 40 points again. I love Malik Hooker, but besides that, I'm not sure what other pieces on that defense are really long-term building blocks. That's my biggest fear for the Colts, is that they're just going to get outscored they're just going to get score run up on them every single game.
That is a very valid concern. What do you have them going at record-wise?
I have them finishing 4-12, same as last year.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I'm not super high on this Colts team. Let's move on, though. Tell me what division you want to do next.
Let's hit the AFC East, one where I think we have a sure winner, and then 3 other teams that exist.
AFC East, I think the winner has been set for basically a while now. I think we both have the New England Patriots finishing first. The only question is, how many wins do you have them collecting?
12.
12. Okay, so kind of not a down year for New England, but not one of their more dominant years.
No, but
I'm going 14-2 for the Pats. I think this Pats schedule is pretty easy, and this AFC East is god awful, and that combo pack is just gonna ride to 14-2. I think.
All right, you brought up an interesting proposition.
I did. Yeah, go ahead and go and explain.
So Jacob thought of a little bet for us. It was the Patriots or the rest of the AFC East in terms of wins. Which total will be higher?
And I want to say the Patriots. I want to have faith in my prediction, but all it takes is one wacky 7-9 season from the Jets to throw it all in disarray. But I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like the Pats on that one.
I do have that wacky 7-9 season from the Jets. That's my prediction, and then 7 for them, 6 for the Bills, and 5 for Miami. Then
I think 6 for the Bills is one of your hottest takes. That's kind of ridiculous to me. I don't think they'd reach 4 much. I've been going 3-13.
You think they're going to be that bad?
I don't think this Bills team is good at all. Like, I think Josh Allen's going to take a minute to kind of get. I think he's looked good in preseason. Like, don't get me wrong, but I can't imagine he's ready for NFL 1 defenses who are game planning against him. Everything we saw. Like, I don't want to underreact to the preseason. The preseason still matters, but like, to me, I'm still kind of going off my college notebook. I'm still kind of going off my scouting, because we saw them playing against 2s and 3s for the most part. Like, when they're going against 1s, or going against starting defenses that are game planning against them, I don't know. Josh Allen does not look ready to me. They open up with the Ravens. That's going to be brutal. That's going to be a 6-3 slugfest is my prediction now.
Like their playoff game against Jacksonville.
Exactly.
10-7.
Exactly. It's going to be disgusting. But,
no playoff games for the Bills this year, though, from either of us.
Yeah, no, God, no. I can't imagine. Yeah, but that's my larger point. I don't think that offense is ready, and that defense is solid. I think there's some nice pieces there, but not enough to carry them to, even as you optimistically, 6 wins. I think that seems high. That seems real high. But let's talk about the Jets. I think we both have the Jets finishing second in this division.
Yes.
You have them going 7-9, so that's some faith in Darnold.
Yep, I do have a lot of faith in Sam Darnold. He's a guy I've really grown on since this point last year.
Yeah, we gotta say, Sharp. At this point last year, your take on Sam Darnold seemed to be that he was bad at football.
Yeah, remind the viewers of your takes.
Listeners.
Listeners, my bad.
I believe at one point I did say Sam Darnold is not good at football. And
Interesting.
believe it or not, he has since proven me wrong.
You've changed your mind. How could you? How are you, an educated person, allowed to change their mind? You crazy kid.
It's wild. I don't know what happened.
So high on this Jets team.
Yep, I'm high on this Jets team. I think Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater, it looks like at this point they're going to hold on to him.
That's so weird.
Which is weird. I don't think they should do that.
Yeah.
But I think both of those guys, I think Darnold should start. Obviously, you spend the third pick on him. And then Bridgewater is, of course, a serviceable backup. But if there is an emergency and they do need to play one over the other, I think they're, both all right. I think they're both capable of, producing a 7-win team.
Okay, I can get behind that. I'm not exactly sure if there's enough talent on that roster to get to 7 wins. That's the only thing I'm worried about. That defense should be fun, though, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Leonard Williams taking another step. That's going to be real exciting to watch. Jamal Adams is real good. So I think that's going to be an interesting squad to watch. I think they need one more year, though, before they're in that. I think 7-9's in the playoff hunt. I think this AFC, I don't think is going to be very good. So, to me, 7-9 is in the mix, and I don't think they're quite ready for that.
I don't know. I could see the Jets being on that in the hunt graphic on ESPN and
Exactly.
NFL Network, where they need like 18 teams to lose.
They're on the far right column. There's like there's the people who have it right now. There's the one game back, then there's in the hunt, and then they're at the very bottom of that list. That's where I find the Jets.
Yeah, the spot we're used to seeing the Dolphins in. I think that's where we'll see the Jets this year.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I have them finishing 5-11, so I don't even have maybe not even in the hunt towards the end. I don't think this team is super talented, but that's still good enough for second in this division for me because I have your Miami Dolphins going 4-12.
All right.
How about you? Where do you have?
I have them going 5-11.
Okay, so not that far off. Personally, it just is not looking that good in Miami. I think Gase with Tannehill could be interesting. I think we have yet to see that pairing in its full effects and its full health.
We had the first year where they were 10-6.
Oh, we did. Okay.
And then last year with Jay Cutler.
Okay. Hold on. I retract my statement then about the never seen. That's 10-6. So that's something. That's respectable.
Yeah, I think though when you lose Jarvis Landry and replace him with Danny Amendola, nothing positive can come out of that. I like Danny Amendola. I think he's all right. Decent player. He scored the other night. Pretty decent touchdown. But
did they ever offer like an explanation of like, oh, we just didn't like Jarvis's fit with our team, or did they ever say anything like that, or did they just never address it?
I think him and Adam Gase didn't get along, and everyone kind of knew that. They're like, we just kind of expect this guy to go for the culture, for the new Miami.
For the new culture.
And I don't know
for the brand.
I don't know if this brand of the new Miami is worth getting rid of Jarvis Landry, regularly 100 catches, 1,000 yards. So,
yeah, I mean, he's probably top 20 wide receiver right now, and he gave him up for a fourth.
Yeah.
That's rough.
I think they could have brought in a late second for him.
I don't think that's unrealistic. I think
they could have brought in 35 for Jarvis Landry, if we're being honest, but that's not my decision to make.
Yeah, so the rest of this Dolphins roster, though, isn't exciting you.
I think Kenny Drake's going to have an okay year. I could see him being, the one bright spot on this team. I think Micah Fitzpatrick is going to be okay.
Yeah.
A rookie safety, first-round pick. But other than that, I think it'll be a year for players and not the team. We'll see some interesting stuff, but no playoff runs or anything like that.
So, one last question before we move on, unless you had anything else to add.
I do have one thing. I think this secondary is sneaky real good. If we have Minka and Rashad Jones as your two safeties, and then Xavier Howard as your number one corner, that's pretty solid. That's real nice.
That is a group of talented guys. The problem is they cannot find anyone to play opposite Xavier Howard.
Yeah, who was it last year?
They have... Well, Tony Lippett was the regular starter, but he was hurt last year, and Cordray Tankersley came in to fill. And both of them have just had pretty bad camps. They worked out a couple cornerbacks, free agents. So, I mean, if they're looking to replace them as starters, I'm not too confident. But I do like that grouping.
That trio is solid.
Yeah.
That trio is something nice to build on.
And then T.J. McDonald, I don't think is terrible either. I think he's an okay piece to have.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't watched a whole lot of film. The Robert Quinn edition though is interesting. I think that happened early enough that I think people forgot about that.
Yeah,
real. That is a potential for something interesting, but my gut tells me that's.
I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about Robert Quinn. I think he'll be decent guy. I could put him in like the 6 to 8 sack region.
I think that's fair. I think he hits. I think maybe double digits, maybe creeps up into 10. But I think him and Cameron Wake is something.
Yeah. I think Cameron Wake is going to ball out again this year.
Yeah, you think so?
I think this is going to be the year everyone finally says, okay, Cameron Wake is real. And it just sucks because he's 36.
Yeah, he is high. Those years in the CFL did not do well for his legacy. Did not help his terms.
No.
His long-term ability to make an
I
impact.
guarantee you, though, every team in the NFL is wishing that they had taken a shot at Cameron Wake.
Facts.
During those CFL years.
Definitely, yeah. No one. I don't think anyone would not sign up for a young Cameron Wake. I think that's something every GM can get behind. So moving out of the AFC East.
Hold on, I have one more question.
One more.
AFC East.
Okay.
So Sharp, you have the Dolphins winning 5 games this year. So are we clustering like three or 4 wins together, and then just the rest of the season is just going to be miserable, or are we spreading out those 5 wins throughout the season?
I would spread them out. One of those is against the Patriots in Miami because, that happens more than you'd think happened last year on Monday Night Football. Surprised John Gruden a lot, I'll tell you that. But
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, the rest of those wins, I could see them spread out. A team like the Bills at home, I think that's a winnable game. I think the Jets at home in Miami is a winnable game, if we're being honest, too.
So you think they go 3-3 in the...
Yeah, I could see
AFC
them going
East.
3-3 in the division, and then
Alright.
2 games elsewhere.
Okay.
They played that NFC North. I think that Lions game winnable, and that Raiders game winnable. I think that might be it.
That's not crazy though.
No, it's not.
Nothing you're saying there is out of this realm.
Absolutely. I just wanted to get your thoughts since it's your team.
Yeah, I understand that. It's I'm still excited to watch Dolphins football, but I'm definitely not expecting a lot this year.
Understandable. Alrighty, moving on to our final division of the AFC, the AFC West. Sharp, go ahead. Tell me who you have as their winner.
The San Diego Los Angeles Chargers. 10-6.
10-6. Interesting. I have the same record for the Chargers, but I have them finishing second in the division to the Kansas City Chiefs, who went 11-5. So tell me why you have the Chargers finishing first.
I think Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. I think he's going to be good, but not great. And I think LA has a comparable roster to the Chiefs, plus Phillip Rivers, who I would say at this point is better than Patrick Mahomes, and I think that gives them the one extra win. I have the Chiefs going 9-7, so I think that 10th win comes just on the back of Phillip Rivers at some point where Patrick Mahomes can't do it yet. And that's how the Chargers win that 10th game in the division.
I can get behind that. I like that. They played the last game of the season, I want to say, in the final 3. So something I think in that group is going to be deciding. And in a 1-game playoff, yeah, I'm taking Phillip Rivers, but man, I'm really high on Mahomes this year. I think Mahomes is going to ball out. I think with those weapons, I think with this probably the best or second best tight end in the league, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, fastest man in the league, Kareem Hunt, top 5 running back. That's gonna be ridiculous. He's gonna destroy. I think that defense is not gonna be able to stop anybody. That's gonna be their main problem.
Yeah, I think that could cost them 7 games to it. So.
Exactly. I think they're gonna be involved in a lot of 45, 42 games. Yeah. I think this is gonna be a fun Chiefs season to watch. I think, like I said, I think this offense will be electric. I think Mahomes is gonna pretty much set it on fire from the jump. I think that arm strength is for real. And in today's NFL, I don't think you need to be some, playmaster guru. I don't think you need to be some quarterback savant or even be that. I think if you have a cannon for an arm and an offensive genius like Andy Reid, I think the possibilities are limitless. I am really high on Mahomes this year. I think it's going to be scary.
All right. So I know you're high on the Denver Broncos rookie defensive lineman Bradley Chubb, but how do you feel about the rest of their team?
I think this Broncos team is going to be competent. I think Case Keenum's solid. I think that the rest of that offense is. I think his weapons are fine. I think Emmanuel Sanders and Marius Thomas, I think they're, good weapons. I think they're a little over the hill, but I think they're solid. I think they go 7-9. I have them finishing third in the division and going 7-9.
That's exactly what I have too.
So tell us why.
I agree with you. I think Case Keenum, he's all right. He definitely proved himself last year as a competent quarterback, but he did have that Vikings defense to keep them in a lot of games, I would say. And then like you said, the weapons are okay, not great.
I think Royce Freeman's real good. Let me put that out there right now.
Yeah, we should
I'm
establish that.
I'm high on Royce Freeman. I don't know. For some reason, he's not the starter from the jump. They still have Devontae Booker in there getting snaps, which is real dumb. But I think he's gonna be talented. I think he could rush for 900,000 yards this season.
I could see this as a year for the Broncos similar to the Jets. I think it's going to be like a development year where they do some good stuff, but it's not
the thing is
anything fantastic.
I could see this team going not 13-3, but 12-4, 11-5. I think
surprising everyone.
I think their ceiling is because I think Case Keenum is consistently slept on. He's constantly, no one gives him the love he deserves. He reinvigorates those weapons. Royce Freeman really breaks out, and then they still have Von Miller on one side and Bradley Chubb on the other. That's still going to be real scary. That's still talented. They still have Bradley Roby, who I'm high on. Brandon Marshall's in the middle of that linebacking group. I think that team is still solid. I think they still have something. So I could, like I said, that's why I had them going 7-9. But it wouldn't shock me if that. I think there's a much higher chance they go 11-5 than 3-13.
I could get behind that as well.
So I think it sounds like we have the same last place squad. Who do you have as the last place team in the AFC East? Or West, sorry.
The Oakland Las Vegas Raiders.
And what do you have them finishing at?
4-12.
Same exact thing. So tell me why you're not high on the Raiders.
This all comes back to John Gruden. I think he's been out of the game for way too long. I don't know how great of a coach he was before. You look at that Hall of Fame defense he had in Tampa Bay. How much of that was he really a part of? Because Brad Johnson was the winning quarterback in that Super Bowl. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy to think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Johnson.
But they blew out that Raiders team, ironically.
Yeah.
But I don't think Gruden's that great of a coach. I think he, you like to say it a lot. I think he's a good motivator, but I don't even know if he's that great at motivating. I think people look at him and be like, this guy's crazy. How is he gonna help me win football games?
Yeah, this guy needs to go back to TV because that's where he belongs. I share your views for John Gruden. I do not. I am. Personally, as a Chargers fan, I am very excited to play him twice a year. I do not think he's good at all. I think he was overrated when he was in the league, and now he spent 10 years sitting on his ass watching Monday Night Football. This man has not been scouting. This man has not been doing his research. He's been doing the TV research you need to figure out the 3 players on a team who matter, but actual scouting, actual NFL head coach.
Know, man. Those Gruden's grinders.
I know, Gruden's grinders. That's just who he's going to collect his team full of Gruden's grinders over the years. That's who he's really going to, that's who he's going to target.
I'm not down on Derek Carr or anything, but I just think John Gruden's going to drive this team into the ground.
I'm actually also, I'm down on Derek Carr. I think this might be, I think this could be a disastrous season in Oakland. I think a lot of things could go wrong. Khalil Mack could not even be there. And if he's not on that defense, jeez.
And I forgot about that. Imagine not even talking to your star.
Exactly. He's
rusher.
He's just isolated. The only player on that defense who matters. They cut Obi Melanwufu, the safety out of UConn from 2 years. The athletic freak. Somebody should go cop him. My boy Maurice Hurst is balling out already. He's doing well so far. So that's disappointing personally to see. But no, I think he's gonna be really good. But besides that defense is garbage, and I don't think that offense is good. I think Lynch is not. I don't think Lynch had a great year last year, and I think he doesn't improve. I think he.
I think he's. Good for him. He's playing football.
I think he gets 600, 700 yards,
serviceable,
5 touchdowns.
He's not. I think if we're being honest, Frank Gore and Marshawn Lynch have similar stats.
Definitely, yeah, I can get behind that. I think, that team. Oof, this might be real rough. This would be kind of, if we're being sad. As much as I hate the Raiders, this would be a sad last season in Oakland. This is a season in which we're predicting a 3-13, 4-12 sort of departure from Oakland would be
that's
depressing.
Not how you want to see.
That's unfair, but that's kind of what it's looking like.
Yeah.
This is not good times in Oakland.
So Jacob.
So Josh,
You're a Chargers fan.
I am, unfortunately.
And I feel like we didn't get a chance to talk about this Chargers defense.
We didn't. I didn't.
And I think you have a few favorite players on that defense. Would you like to tell us about those players?
I have some. I really, really love this Chargers defense. I try not to get too giddy about this Chargers defense because someone's gonna tear an ACL and I'm just gonna have to curl up in a ball. But God, I love this team. I mean, you have to start with Bosa and Ingram, and Bosa and Ingram are gonna be such a dynamite combo. Those are 2 top 7 pass rushers to me in the league, and that's just gonna be. I mean, when you can't game plan against one of them, and you have to factor for both of them. That's gnarly.
Yeah.
Up the middle still weak. That's still an area of concern. But if Perryman's playing all year, middle linebacker Denzel Perryman can play at least like 14 games. I think that helps a lot against the run. And then that secondary, the electric fence. Derwin.
The electric fence.
The electric fence, man. I saw that on Twitter, and I'm taking it. I
like it.
I'm making that their thing. Casey Hayward, best corner in the league, putting it out there right now. Casey Hayward is an absolute freak.
That's a take.
Yeah, he's real good, man. He is a little undersized, 5'11", 5'10", I think, but he just knows how to play the position. He's just one of those wily vets who just knows how to pick off passes.
Yeah.
And then combine that with Derwin James and Trevor Williams and the rest of the stacked secondary, I'm very excited. I think this Chargers defense is a top 5 unit in the league, and could be real fun to watch.
Yeah, Sharp, do you remember Jacob's reaction when we were watching the draft together and the Chargers picked up Derwin James?
I do. Jacob was very excited.
I was tickled, to say the least. I was just the euphoria felt when a consensus top 5 prospect falls to 17 is just unreal. It's just at a at a level that is unimaginable, I think, to the human brain without experiencing it. That was the greatest feeling I've had in my entire lifetime.
That's like when Laramie Tunsil was there for the Dolphins, except I gotta say at that time I was less confident in that pick just with the surrounding issues. But similarly, consensus top 5 guy falls into the teens and he's there for your team to get. It's pretty fun.
It's just incredible, and just not being the team to screw up and pass on him is just a fantastic feeling. It's just when you can see a future All-Pro coming into your arms, landing there like a beautiful Drew Brees interception of Derwin James, like just lofting in there, and your team just makes that interception. Your team just grabs that ball out of the air. Incredible feeling.
I think it's fair to say that Jacobs had several fantasies over the summer
about
many. Derwin James picking off Drew Brees.
Many. Well, we just saw that pick in the preseason game. It was gorgeous and everything I hoped it would be. But I think that wraps up our jerk off session of the Chargers. And I think it's time to move. Oh, my bad. Yeah, okay. My jerk off session. Sorry, guys. And now let's move on to the AFC Playoffs. And so, who do you have as your number 1 overall seed in the AFC?
Number 1 overall seed is the New England Patriots.
I have them as well, and then the 2?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Interesting. I also have the AFC South. I have the Texans as my 2 seed. Your 3 seed?
My 3 seed is the 10-win Pittsburgh Steelers.
Alrighty, I have the 11-5 Pittsburgh Steelers as my 3 seed, and then your 4 seed?
The 10-win San Diego Los Angeles Chargers.
Alrighty, I have the 11-win Kansas City Chiefs. And then who are your 2 wild cards?
I have the 11-win Texans and then the Tennessee Titans, 5 and 6.
Gotcha. Wow. I have the Jaguars nabbing the first wild card with a 12-4 record, and the Chargers nabbing the second one with a 10-6. So let's break that down. What is your first playoff matchup?
First playoff matchup would be the Texans on the road against the Chargers.
Texans on the road coming to LA to face the Chargers. That would be a phenomenal matchup.
I think that would be a great matchup, and I think the Texans pull that one out.
As heartbreaking would that be, I think I would have to agree. That would be a fantastic playoff game. But yeah, Deshaun Watson first playoff game comes into LA. That'd be fun. I'd be hyped for that. I have a little bit different. My first playoff matchup also involves the Chargers, but it's them traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. And I have the Chargers falling there, the Steelers advancing. Who is your other wild card game?
that would be the Steelers and the Titans, and I think the Steelers do win this particular matchup.
That seems like an ESPN playoff game to me. That seems like a 21-17 okay game that shouldn't be as close as it is. Yeah, I think that doesn't get my juices flowing, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
what do you mean by ESPN playoff game?
Like, I remember the Chiefs Titans playoff game. I feel like ESPN playoff games are always kind of a dud.
They're not that, or like Texans Raiders.
Exactly, like they always get the short end of the stick in terms of playoff matchups.
And then they lose a bunch of money.
Exactly, and then they try and do ESPN Plus and
or they lay off all their writers.
Exactly. All connecting back to that horrible playoff game.
Yeah.
So then in the second round,
hold on before we move on. If you are a former ESPN writer and are looking for somewhere to write, you should write for Sideline Intel.
Sideline Intel is hiring any and all former ESPN employees. Come to Sideline. We are forming ESPN Part 2 or Place 2. We're taking all your damaged goods, ESPN, and
your contract won't look as great.
And it'll be slightly less exciting, but
we have fun here.
But the opportunities are endless. Alrighty, so let's move on to your second round.
We saw this matchup a couple years ago in the playoffs, and that is the Patriots against the Texans.
Oh, that'd be fun. Okay, so the Texans traveling to Foxborough.
Yep.
Interesting. What do you have going on there?
Patriots are going to win that game. I don't think there's any stopping Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Wow. Okay. I like it. So my second playoff matchup would be the Steelers traveling to Houston. In my scenario, the Houston Texans are the 2 seed with a 13-3 record, and they would be hosting the Steelers. And I have them just wiping the floor with the Steelers in that game. If they are hosting Pittsburgh after a bye, I would not be shocked by like a 35-13 game like that. I don't know if I can stress this enough. Very high on the Texans this year.
Yeah. I also have the Steelers traveling somewhere, but that would be to the 2 seed Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think similar to last year's divisional round matchup, aside from it being in a different place, Jacksonville is going to take this one too.
I like it. Yeah, I think that Jacksonville defense on Big Ben is that's his kryptonite. I
think we're going to start to see a depleted Big Ben that late in the year. Definitely. I don't know how much Antonio Brown can do for a banged up, depleted.
Maybe even Mason Rudolph. It could be. Speaking of divisional rounds and the Jacksonville Jaguars, that is my second divisional round game, and I have the Patriots hosting the Jaguars, who in this scenario are the number 1 wild card, and I have the Patriots winning that game, similar to last year's AFC Championship game. I think it's hard fought. I don't exactly think the Jaguars have a lead in the fourth like they did last year, but I think that is a smash mouth football game. I think I would have the Patriots taking that one, which means my AFC Championship game is Texans-Patriots. How about you?
My AFC Championship is the same as your second divisional, and that is Jaguars-Patriots.
And who do you have escaping that one?
New England, again.
New England. So for another year, you have the Patriots representing the AFC in the Super Bowl.
That is correct.
Well, I have the Texans playing the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. But I do not have the Patriots representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. I do not think. I think the theme of this podcast might be my love for the Texans, and I continue. I like them riding through. I like them. I have the Texans playing the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Deshaun Watson going into Foxborough and booking his trip to his first ever Super Bowl.
Oh, man. I just don't know. I don't know if there's any stopping Tom Brady in the playoffs. It's been that way for almost 20 years now, and it's shown no signs of stopping.
Unless you're from the NFC East.
We have facts. We have yet to see real sustained, performance drop off from this Patriots team. But I think this is the year. I think they take a slight step back, and I think this Texans team jumps at the opportunity and nabs and heads to the Super Bowl.
J.J. Watt deserves to go to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Is there anyone who deserves a Super Bowl berth more than J.J. Watt? I don't know. The list is short. The list may stop and end with Phillip Rivers, but that's a conversation for a different day.
I mean, would J.J. Watt even play in that Super Bowl? Is J.J. Watt going to stay healthy?
Interesting. Does J.J. Watt play a whole season? I don't know. I think that, honestly, though, as scary as it is to say, I don't think that matters that much for this Houston defense. I think if he's there, that's a huge addition, and that's fantastic, and him and Jadeveon is ridiculous. But if he's not there, that's still a really good defense. That's like I said, they still have Jadeveon. I think that's still a top 10 pass rusher right there. I think that secondary is solid. I think that might be their one area where I'd like to see some improvement. But that secondary is solid, and I think that offense is going to be dynamite. It's going to be real fun. So, just to recap, I have the Texans in the Super Bowl. Sharp has the Patriots. To find out our NFC predictions, tune in next week. But for Jacob Rosenfarb, this is Ryan Sharp, our producer, Josh Zackless. This has been Two Kids in a Trench Coat. Have a wonderful week, guys. Thanks for listening.